thing.
We can hear you.
Whoa.
Hi. Hey, what's up? Surprising no one. I'm gonna run to the bathroom real quick, but we'll start in a few minutes.
Cool.
Okay.
So I'm not super familiar with what's going on. You made a chat that like I see a little lock on the volume, so it looks like it mutes everyone automatically.
Yeah, so people. Oh,
Go ahead.
no, you take it, Coraline. I'm gonna run to the bathroom.
All right. Basically, this chat, only the selected few people are allowed to chat, meaning us, and you two. And we'll just unmute people as their turn goes for the questions, their turn we agreed upon. So we have like a bunch of questions that we decided upon, like through like the Google Forms and stuff. And
Nice.
if we have time for more after that, then
Yeah, that sounds good. So I don't know if Will's in here. I'm not sure how to check. Do you have the ability to unmute him when he comes in?
I have unmuted him. Basically, like
okay.
in the server, he has the permission to speak in here. So
Gotcha. Okay.
when he's in there, he should be able to unmute his mic whenever he likes.
Will, you there?
Yeah, hello.
Hey.
Oh. Hi.
Hi.
Okay. So
This is Coraline, I believe. Is that right? Did I pronounce that right?
Hello. Yeah, that's how you say it.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, pleased to meet you.
Coraline is one of the mods. I think you were the first mod that I assigned, right?
Appointed, yeah, pretty much.
Coraline is a Lombardi's World freak, if I don't say myself. Beat it many a time.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you again for giving me mod for some reason. I mean, I guess.
I mean, you just seem chill, and obviously know Lombardi's World probably better than me at this point, so seemed fairly reasonable to give you the mod position.
Okay. All right. So I guess. I guess we don't have to wait for Kai to start to go ahead and. Hey, you're there. Okay, you're back.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, I guess we're good. We can start asking the questions then.
Cool.
Okay.
I think Kate, you were first up. If you want to shoot.
Well, turns out Kate's microphone broke
Kate's mic
this very day, so we're going to ask the question for Kate for now. So the first question is, I guess a lot of people sort of ask this, but what inspired you to make the various storylines in One Trait Bangers, such as the ones in Rocket Ship, Timus, and Kurt? Those are the three big ones. What's the story?
Well, I guess we could start with Timus. Well, I mean, Timus or Tim Schenectady was created a long time before Bangers was even a thought. But the idea about
that has an origin too, right?
Yeah, do you want to tell the Tim Schenectady origin?
Well, not really. It's your story.
Well, I mean, it's kind of all of our stories. We were stopped at a gas station in Schenectady, or not a gas station, like a diner in Schenectady, New York. And
I feel like I don't even know if we were. I feel like we were just driving and saw the sign.
Well, the reason I say that is because I'm referencing an Instagram video where you guys are all getting into a car after we ate at this diner, and I'm yelling, "Hey, this is Tim Schenectady," like saying all this dumbass shit. And like part of me thinks it happened around that area. Maybe we saw the sign before we stopped, but in my mind, that like Instagram video was the origin of Tim Schenectady.
Okay.
And then we sort of just like. It sort of just evolved to be a parody of like journalism and music journalism. And then of course Tim shows up in One Trait High, and that really solidified the idea. And then Pitchfork called me Andy in their write-up of Madlow, and I was just like, I gotta do something to get back at them like this, because I don't know for sure, but it seems pretty clear to me that they did it on purpose. Like they knew about One Trade High and they knew about Tim Schenectady and they wanted to like take a dig at me or something. Because it's like nowhere else on the internet is my name Andy. Like they for sure just like did that to fuck with me. So I'm like, okay, we got to get back at them. So I knew I wanted Tim Schenectady to have some sort of like issue or complex where he calls everyone something with a Y at the end of the name. And then Will helped me flesh out the idea more.
And I didn't even remember that Pitchfork called you Andy until after we finished the album and you tweeted that.
it was my vendetta the whole time.
I honestly had no idea why you would come up with this joke of this journalist who calls everybody by the diminutive of their name.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he had that bit, and Kurt was one of the other, we didn't start out with it a lot of, actually, the reason it was called Bangers is because originally it wasn't really going to be connected, like, right? Like
it was just going to be songs. Like a bunch of really heavy, dope songs that didn't have anything to do with each other. That was like my original plan.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, like it just didn't really seem like it was going to work that way. And then, some of the stuff that you were making, like the Tim Schenectady bit seemed like it needed a plot to go around it. And then you made Kurt. And why did you make Kurt? Like,
well, Kurt is a really interesting one because that one was sort of a self-fulfilling prophecy. So like, forever I've always had this funny little joke about Kurt Vile. Like a long time ago, we had this funny bit where Kurt Vile stole all the music off my laptop in our college dorm room or something like that and like got famous off of my songs.
Yeah, we were just going to start a bunch of rumors that he was just doing like pretty immature stuff. Like he stole your ID too.
Yeah. And that's been like a 5-year long joke. And so then when I was doing those streams over the summer during COVID, I thought it would be funny to make a song about Kurt like coming over and doing a collab song but never showing up. And so I like made that song on stream, or most of it on stream, and then I was like, oh man, wouldn't it be cool if like Kurt Vile actually came onto the album? Like my original idea was we make this song where he doesn't show up, and then the very next song on the album he it starts with Kurt Vile being like, oh hey, sorry I'm late, and then there's like a collab song. I thought that would have been hilarious. So I email his manager, and this is where the self-fulfilling prophecy comes in. I email the manager and I'm telling him about this collab idea, and the manager is like super psyched on it. He's like, oh, Kurt's gonna think this is hilarious, like can't wait to do it. And then never email me back. I email him a week later. He keeps making up like excuses after excuse after excuse, like, oh, Kurt's wrapping up his new album in the studio. Like that line was based on a real email thread that I had. And so Kurt never came because I kept getting blown off by his manager. And so then the song just turned into that conversation that we have with Ethan is playing his manager in the song. And I think it's hilarious. But I do want to say I just emailed Kurt's manager the song. This was 1 day ago. This is at 9:24 a.m. yesterday. I emailed him and I go, here's the final song about Kurt, period. He never showed up, so we had to make this. The door is still open if he wants to make a track. And I like paste in the Spotify link, and then his manager gets back to me like an hour later and just goes, thanks, Andrew. Sorry you temporarily fell victim to Kurt's crazy schedule, and then said nothing else. like sorry, eat shit. So I thought that was hilarious. But so all of the conversation in the email thread in that song is like based on a real thread that we had with his manager. So it was pretty funny to me, at least. I mean, I guess what are the other characters? Who else are we missing?
I mean, the next question is sort of going to be about that. So yeah.
Sure, yeah.
Hi, I'm Robin.
Hi.
In an AMA following the release of World Tour, someone asked how Elon Musk and Grimes fit into One Trick Canon, and you, Andrew, responded asking how the fuck they knew about that. Was Rocket Ship already in the works at that point, or was it originally just a joke?
Yeah, so Rocket Ship was not in the works at that point, but again, like you're starting to see a trend here, right? Of like Will and I and the guys in a van coming up with dumb bits that sort of snowball as inside jokes and then become One Trade Danger songs. So I don't remember exactly how the Grimes Elon bit started in our van, but it ended up with me like making a really Grimes, like a horrible impersonation of Grimes' voice, talking.
It wasn't an impersonation. It was just a random voice that you called Grimes.
Yeah, and then it's me like yelling at Elon, just being like annoying, and that was the whole bit. Like it was just us laughing in the car, me making a dumb voice saying that I'm Grimes, talking to Elon. And that person, I don't know, that must have just been a crazy coincidence because there's no way that person could have known that we had like created a Grimes Elon Musk bit. But I thought it would be funny to put on the album, but it had nothing to do with that person's comment. That was always sort of a plan.
Yeah, and so kind of all these pieces, they came up just as separate pieces, and a large part of the conscious work of making this album was just trying to figure out how exactly they could fit together. And so that's why we ended up with so much talking on this record. It's got like as much talking as it does music, and that's just from kind of committing to the idea of it as this narrative and going more in that direction.
Totally. And I mean, like, also, I was thinking about it too, because I remember when we were putting the end of the album together, I was like, oh, fuck, like, so much of this is bits and skits. Then I went and re-listened to, like, old Tenacious D stuff, and, like, I started to feel a lot better about it, because if you go listen to, like, old, that stuff, like, it's all bits. The whole thing starts with a sketch on every single song. Like, obviously, they do a bunch of songs too, but it's, like, there's a ton of, like, comedy bits. And I thought those albums were hilarious growing up. And I mean, I still do. And so I think like if you listen to like the comedy bits by themselves without the music, it's like, yeah, that was a dumb song. Like if you listen to the intro track of the album without any music, it's like, yeah, that was stupid. But if you're listening to it as a whole 27-minute album, like I think it flows really well, and I think the comedy comes out. So I felt a lot better after listening to old stuff that I used to like as a kid.
Yeah, and I mean also when we were able to go through and listen to the whole album that we made, because I know that working on it, we would just be working on these bits and it'd really be up in the air whether it was going to pan out. And my thought was like, worst case scenario, we still have some undeniably good songs on this, like Backup and Rocket Ship. But it was definitely nice to hear the whole thing at the end of the process and feel like it did work out and all these little pieces went together
totally
better than they had any right to.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. I mean, it works really, really well for sure.
Glad you like it.
Neat. I have another still about sort of 1TD lore.
Oh, I'm sorry, you cut out. Can I ask a question? Hi, Andrew. Well, I'm Sister Slug. I made the Steam achievement.
Oh, yeah. Awesome.
Hi.
Thank you for that, by the way. Wait, before you go on, I just want to say, Sister Slug, if anybody's getting achievements, the art pieces on the achievements when you get them, Sister Slug made all those just for fun, just to help out with the community. So big round of applause to Sister Slug.
I do have a couple of missing assignments in school from doing that, but that's fine. Okay, question time. So on the Carsey Headers website, in that section, newness and strangeness, Will, you mentioned something about trait being like spending time in classified government facilities before getting into the music business. Is there any future stuff that might be focusing a little bit more on Trait's backstory, specifically like that idea?
It seems like there'll have to be, but I keep going back and forth on the origin story. But right now it's still for as long as I don't have to settle on a definite story, I guess I'm not going to. But I kind of like that. I like the vagueness of it, and it is something that's going to be in my mind for as long as I'm working with the character. But I still don't know all the details yet.
Well, remember we were talking about another game idea.
Yeah, I pitched a whole game idea to you about the origin, but then like a week later, I was like, I don't know if I want that.
Yeah,
I
Will
didn't
calls
tell
me
you
really
that.
excited one morning, and he's like, "Dude, I got this idea for your next game." And I'm like, "I want to make another game." But he's like, "All right, just hear me out." And we talked for like a half an hour about this really cool like origin story for Trait and this.
Yeah, you tell all of us what that was, because now I kind of half forget it anyways.
Oh well, I forget way more of it than you do. I mean, as far as I remember, it was a bunch of scientists, one of which was Cosset Senior, and they create this sort of like I don't want to use the word magic, but supernatural superhero type mask or whatever.
Yeah, well, they find this freaked out rock, I think, that's just like washed up in the ocean, and then when they're studying it, they're analyzing the chemicals in it, and they're using this gas mask, and then they're using like a couple other items too, and all of those items end up getting sort of possessed by some sort of supernatural power, and so you end up the scientists. So like everything in that experiment ends up, it's supposed to be buried and destroyed and forgotten about. But one of the scientists takes the mask, and I think ends up passing it down to his son, and that's the origin of Trait. But the idea was that there would be these other pieces too, that you could eventually show up with some rivals. But now I don't know. I don't know.
Well, I mean, I remember telling you, like, if we wanted to make this game the way that you're describing it, we would have to pay someone a lot of fucking money, because there's no way I'd be able to do it. I mean, like there's talk of like going like having it be a 3D game with nice graphics, and then like at certain points like going down to 2 dimensions and stuff, and it's just stuff that like I have no idea how to do. So it would be like it was like a plan, like if we ever get rich, we'll create a studio and make this game. That was sort of where we left it.
Yeah, it won't be canon until the game comes out.
If the game comes out, but that would be cool. That would be super cool.
Yeah.
Right. So, yeah. You have another question coming up?
Hey, so in One Trait Bangers, Andrew is referenced by name. So I was wondering like the lore implications of this, and how does that like relate to Stoney and the other fictional band members?
Yeah, that's a good question, Andrew.
That is a good question. So I've been thinking about that, and like my thoughts on it are, I have multiple personas. Like, there is Andrew, there is Stoney, there is pretty much any character that I play on the album is just a different persona that I take on, including Andrew.
Whoa.
And Andy? Don't you dare. Don't you dare. I'll make an album about you. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of how I see it. Like, I could see, like, I see people call me Trait, referring to One Trait Danger all the time, and or not Trait, sorry, Stoney all the time, and that makes sense. Like, yeah, if you want to call me Stoney, but in my mind, I'm only Stoney when I'm rapping the Stoney type songs, right?
Okay.
And like,
And
I'm only Tim Schenectady when I'm doing Tim shit. And then
Andrew, when you call yourself Andrew, it's like the emails, right? So
it's like
the scenes.
Yeah, exactly. It's like I'm the guy putting the music together. I'm not necessarily like the performer. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
Well, clearly no one else does.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I remember when we were recording it and I said Andrew into the mic. Will was standing right behind me and he's like, "What do you mean? Don't you want to say Stoney?" And we had Ethan say Andrew and Will was behind the mic. And I remember you mentioned it. And I liked Andrew because that was what Kurt's manager called me in the email. And so I wanted to stick to that.
Okay.
I think. Oh, sorry. Next, I think we have Ivy.
Hold on. Let me check where I don't see that person in the chat. Oh, okay. Right. I just got a text actually saying that we should ask the question ourselves once again. Okay. So go ahead.
Sure. Okay. Ivy was wondering what creating the backup music video was like and if there's any notable, interesting behind the scenes stuff.
It went pretty much as planned. I mean, I told Will I wanted to make a backup video and I was like, I mean, we can film this fucking thing in a day. And that's exactly what we did.
Well, actually, we got ahead of schedule because we thought it'd be 2 days. And then by the end of the first day, we had pretty much all of it. And we just fudged the rest of it, basically.
Wait, what do you mean fudge the rest of it?
Well, you wanted me to come back for the shot of lighting the bong.
Oh, right. But I mean, at the end of the day, after it was edited down, like I thought it was way funnier that it looked like we couldn't figure out how to light the bong.
Right, because you wanted the smoke coming out of the mask.
That was the original plan.
We weren't sure how we were going to do that.
It didn't work out.
But I mean, anything. Oh, you're cutting out. Sorry, I can't hear you.
Sorry, it's me. Go ahead.
I don't think I remember anything super notable. I think
cold at the beach.
It was super cold at the beach, and we stayed there for like 2 minutes. But I think probably the most notable thing is it was kind of a last minute idea of Will's to film me running down at the camera down that hill, and I feel like those are the best shots in the video, which I'm super glad we got. But yeah, I don't remember anything crazy about it. It honestly went really smoothly. It was nothing crazy happened.
Yeah, it was just us and Seth and his dog.
Oh yeah, he was carrying his dog around in a backpack. I guess that's where we got the dog from.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of it was just on the set improv.
Sweet. I think we got fourth strongest up.
Hold on, let me unmute. Is it done? Sorry.
Hello.
Oh, thank you.
Hello.
Okay, sorry. I just need to unmute manually every time through this massive list of people.
Yeah.
Okay, bam. Unmuted. You may now speak.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, you're the one that won the book, right?
Yes. Hold on. So I won the book. I'm recording this. I'm doing a lot of things at once. I'm sorry. I'm stumbling around myself.
No worries. Congratulations on the book. Did you like it? Did you look through it?
Yeah, thanks. I actually haven't. I've had a hell of a 2 weeks. So no, I have not looked through it yet. I think I'm gonna try to get scanned for everyone tomorrow, if I'm lucky.
Oh, okay. You're gonna give it out. Gotcha.
Yeah, and I want to get nice scans for it so people can read it well.
Yeah. Good luck. Most of it's just scribbles.
Well, okay, yeah, you're right, but that's besides the point. All right, yeah, hi. I'm fourth strongest. I have the book and stuff, and I try to do stuff in the community, but I also don't because there's a lot of people in it. All right. So my question is, how much has the process of making a One Trait Danger album changed since One Trait High, and what can you see adding to the process in the future?
Well, it kind of changed significantly each time, I feel like.
Yeah, totally.
I mean, One Trait High really snuck up on us, and we didn't have a name for it or any of the details worked out until really the end of it, right? Like we just had
It's
songs
just a
that
bunch
we were
of random
making.
songs. Yeah.
And that was all. Was there any of One Trait High that was not made on tour?
No, it was all
on tour.
Well, I mean, I guess technically, like the intro track, the vocals for it, I recorded at home, but
Right.
like very, very little of that album was made not on tour.
Right. And so then after that, we came up with the name and with these basic characters. As at the end of that process, putting out that record. And so then we had that at the beginning of making the next record, and we knew that that's what it would be. And so you can see there's more of a framework to World Tour than there is to High. And that one just took longer too, I think. It was probably split up between a couple different tours, and you were working on it more at home too.
Yeah. And then of course Bangers was made almost exclusively at my house during COVID.
Right. I mean, was any of it not?
I'm trying to think if any of it.
I don't think any of it existed before.
Yeah,
quarantine
I'm trying to think
started.
if I took any beats from anywhere, but yeah, I think it was actually all made at home.
Yeah, and it took quite a while. Just you had a few pieces, but I wasn't really in the mood to work on it for a while last year. And then you spent a long time on the game, and then after the game was done is when we really started working on this in earnest. Yeah,
it basically was dead in the water while the game was being made. There was like a little, like maybe a quarter of it had been worked on before the game was done. And then that's when you started coming over and we started actually getting shit done.
Yeah. But like having it be its own thing instead of it being something that we're tossing off on tour, that definitely resulted in sort of the tighter plot structure that you see on that album, where everything is just kind of flowing into one another. And
we just had more time to like act, like to give to thinking about making a full album, as opposed to like me just shoving a microphone in someone's face in a green room and being like, say something, and making a song out of that. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, is like there is a certain spark and spontaneity to the songs on One Trait High because it was so crazy and like in the moment, that like that kind of improv you just can't really get from premeditated stuff. But it's like a give and take, right? With One Trait High, the album makes no sense, but the individual songs have really good improv stuff on them. So where do I see it going in the future? I mean, I don't know.
It depends on what our schedule is like. I mean, if right now we are set, I guess I shouldn't announce anything officially, but we don't have any touring plans this year. We have some next year. So if we work on any One Trait stuff this year, it will be at home. But we might not. Also, we might wait until the next time we're on tour.
Yeah, I can't see myself.
Yeah, I mean, we both want to break from it, and then I think we also want to have that spark of energy where we are, in the car, in the venue together, coming up with ideas. It's just a little harder when, I'm at home and I commute over to your house to brainstorm or FaceTime.
Right. Yeah, I mean, at the very least, like there will be, a memo recorder on an iPhone, getting little ditties that we come up with, and then they can be fleshed out after tour and stuff like that. But I think our best stuff comes from us just sticking around on tour.
Yeah, because I mean that like we go through so much stuff on tour that is just worthless. That the One Trait collections are just like the best of.
Yeah. There's a lot of shit you have to sift through to get to the gems, no doubt.
Absolutely.
Totally. Thanks for beating Lombardi's World first.
Ooh.
I think we're missing Mikey. Quick check. Mikey isn't here, right? No. Okay.
I don't see it.
Yeah. This sounds like kind of touched on what this question might go for just now, but they were wondering about the creative process for the lyrics and how they work on One Trait Danger albums, and if it's like, quote, pure road vomit, i.e. first thought that comes to mind, or is it something that you think pretty hard about and develop over time?
I think it depends. I would say 90% of it is just like a beat. I put a beat on a loop and just the first fucking thing that comes into my head. I mean, a great example of that would be if anybody watched the creation of Gus on stream, like the entire thing was ad-libbed, like on stream. And people just fed me, we want a country song, we want a horse named Gus, and then I just started rapping bullshit about it. So like most One Trait comes just right off the top of the dome. Which is why there is no intricate lyrics or rhymes or anything like that. It's just pure nonsense comedy. But that's what I like about it. But then every once in a while, I'll come up with something in my head in the shower, and I'll sort of solidify a line or a chorus in my head a little more. But it just depends on the song.
I think Alien Boy was a good example of how we did it earlier, where you and probably Ethan had been talking about Norm Macdonald and made, and then you were singing. You were trying to come up with lyrics for Alien Boy, and you were just stealing Norm Macdonald jokes. So you said, "Good news, it's just a fucking cat. Get over it."
Yeah, and that's a Norm Macdonald joke.
Yeah, and then I'm in the background, and I say, "Are you really just going to put a Norm Macdonald joke as the joke for this song?" And then you just go right into the next verse, and you say, "That was a Norm Macdonald." Okay,
I'm not stealing it; I'm just covering it.
It's probably literally what you said to me right before you recorded that.
Yeah,
but we did write more for this last one too, consciously.
Yeah,
we would.
Yeah, I mean, if you read through the book Fourth Strongest, or if anybody reads the scans, you'll see there's plenty of us testing lyrics out and stuff.
I feel like I wrote more lyrics on this one than on previous.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Bill Gates is my neighbor.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, those sessions where we were just bouncing ideas off each other was a lot more like us sitting down and writing than any other album has been.
Yeah.
But still, even having said that, most of this album is still just total off the top of the dome.
Yeah, it's definitely the seeds of it.
Yeah.
I think Space Case, if you want to jump in. Yeah.
Hey, can you hear me good?
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect.
All right. I was wondering, because Deadline's Thoughtful is kind of like a remix of Drove My Car in a way. I was wondering if in the future for One Trait Danger, like if there's any songs from this album that we can see turned into car seat headrest songs, or vice versa, just more crossover in the future like that.
Anything's up for grabs. It's really just something where I'm always glad to be involved in a side project or something different, because I really just like pulling stuff from anywhere to make a song. And, I used to do that with songs that I had nothing to do with. I would put Neil Young lyrics and music at the end of some of my songs and stuff. And it's more difficult to do that when you have contracts and songwriting royalties and stuff to get involved with. But working on One Trait, Andrew's coming up with stuff, and we can think of it in that context. Or if I'm looking for something to add to a car seat headrest song, then I can freely mine from that material.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as the reverse goes, I have no idea. I mean, I guess we kind of flipped from car seat with the first One Trait, because we positioned it as a leak of Twin Fantasy. But it's probably as close as we got.
Yeah.
Cool.
Poke wanted to know if there were any cut or scrapped songs from the album and if we'll ever get to hear them.
Well, we did. I didn't want Gus on because it would complicate things too much. So
yeah, no, that was a good call. Gus is too long to be. It would make the album too long. Gus is a perfect standalone track too. It's like the whole story is wrapped up in it. You know.
Yeah, that was really giving me a problem because I was like, is there going to be like a country part of this story? Like they're going to go out west or something? I'm really glad that we didn't end up working with it. I don't think we finished anything else that.
Well, there's plenty of unfinished stuff. Like, I mean, I remember when I first sent you the notes for Bangers, like half those songs didn't even get used. Like,
right. But a lot of it was instrumental.
Yeah, what's the one Painted on the Wall never got touched, which I like that one a lot. It's too bad. Like, if it got retooled, that could be a really good song.
But I mean, that was definitely going more with the original concept that it was more of a straight up just collection of pop songs.
Yeah.
And so that kind of got phased out once we weren't thinking of it in those terms anymore.
Yeah, and then there was like the chop one that I think I actually made on stream. Like the chop bass song, which I think also sounded cool, but it like the lyrics were stupid. Like the lyrics would have had to have been completely retooled because it was another one of those Ableton plays or Twitch plays Abletons, and they told me to make a song about simps, and I didn't even know what a simp was, and so I'm just like taking all this information from these kids, and I'm like trying to make a song about something I don't even know anything about. It turned out terrible, but the instrumental was really good.
Okay. All right, we have Gothic Aesthetic next. Asking a question. You should be unmuted.
Oh, my question is, what was your favorite song to write and produce off One Trait Bangers?
Well,
you go first.
I would say Rocket Ship for sure, just because that was like the most collaborative song that we did. Because like I originally made this like pretty groovin' loop, and then Will did the classic Will thing where he comes over and turns it into a real song. And we spent didn't you come over a couple times? We did this over a couple days, making it.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like that was the first one where it was coming together, and I'm like, okay, this is going to be funny and good. But that one wasn't easy to mix either.
That was really hard to mix.
Yeah.
But it was definitely, it definitely showed me like that you and I could, like if you and I found some kid that could like sing really well, we could turn that kid into a fucking pop star. Guaranteed.
Right.
Sure.
So anyone in the chat want to try out, we'll make you a goddamn star.
I did an acoustic cover of Drove My Car a while ago. So like
are you the one that sent me the video or whatever?
Yeah.
I saw that, right?
Yeah.
I liked the chorus. It was cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's stuck in my head.
All right, we got Catherine up next.
Right. This is technically like 3 fucking questions, but are all grouped into the same general idea.
Mm-hmm.
Is there going to be a physical release for One Trait Bangers? Is there ever going to be a digital release of Cossett's World? Because the site has said coming soon. You still haven't
wait. Don't ask your third question yet, because I'm going to forget it. So the first one was physical copies of One Trait, physical format of One Trait Bangers. Well, we wanted to do a flash drive, and I asked Emily, our merch manager, if we could do it, and she got really pissed because you guys didn't buy any of the older album flash drives, and so she's like, no, we're not making a bunch of these again because no one's buying them. So I was like, okay, that's fair. So no, I don't think you're gonna get a physical anything for that, unfortunately. I would say sorry, but not sorry. I made a whole video game for you, so you don't need a flash drive. But the second question about the digital files for Cossett's World, I think you should, if you just email Emily, the merch manager, if like 2 of you do it, she'll be like, oh fuck, and then fix it. I'm sure she just forgot about it. And then what was your third question?
Wait a minute. Why what do you mean Emily's going to fix it? Like, Do you want it up or do you want it to not say coming soon?
Well, I figured she would just do what she said, and instead of having it say coming soon, actually just make it happen.
Well, I don't. Why don't you just put it out? Where?
I mean, yeah, I could. But wouldn't we want it on the website? I mean, yeah, I could go throw it somewhere. I guess I could. I guess I could put it on Dirt Plug TV.
I don't think the Big Cartel site is gonna like host it or anything.
Big Cartel doesn't do files. I don't think.
Okay, well maybe I'll try to put it up on
like,
Dirt Plug TV. I was thinking about adding downloadables.
Is the site you're talking about the Big Cartel or Dirt Plug?
The car seat headrest Big Cartel. Yeah.
Huh.
You could just upload like a shady BitTorrent. I feel like.
Wait. What does it say is coming soon? I guess I'm a little confused.
Right. Let me pull up the Big Cartel.
Because like,
get to the bottom of this.
Because like, as far as I was aware, she was selling the flash drives, or was she just selling the contents of the flash drives?
No, it's on the page for the flash drives. It says digital.
Okay. So yeah, she must just have the files on her computer, and she's just emailing people. That would be my guess.
But yeah, we should figure out a place where we can just host it online because that.
Yeah, I think my Dirt Plug TV can. I don't know what the limit on uploadables is, but I can go check that out. Yeah, I mean, I could put that there. I can't put Lombardi's World because that has to run through Steam.
We could probably also put Cossett's World as an attachment for one of the previous albums on Bandcamp.
You can do that. You can add like a
what's the
multi-gig file to an album.
Up to 2 gigabytes per file, I think.
Yeah, I think Cossett's World's just over 2, but I can take a look. Yeah, we can take a look at it. And then what was your third question?
The third question was if there's ever going to be T-shirts or like pin badges or just any.
Did you not see the link? I put up a link for 1TD merch a couple days ago. Emily had some shirts left to sell. And if those sell out, I'm sure she would be willing to order more.
Guys, buy the merch.
Is any of the merch available in the UK? Actually, I've just realized.
Oh right.
I completely forgot to ask.
Yeah, I forget what our UK scene is. It's just it's been. Forget why there's a weird separation with we had a UK person for a while, and then I think they weren't really doing enough business to be able to continue doing it. So
yeah,
we're in limbo with the UK right now, unfortunately.
But I mean, yeah, if enough people have like outward desire for merch, it'll happen. I think honestly the best way to make it happen is just like shoot Emily an email, and like she's really responsive.
Don't do that.
Don't?
It's not her responsibility for us to open up a UK store.
No, I don't mean the UK store. I mean just ordering more shirts in general. Because I can ask her, but I'm like on probation with her right now because like I always ask her to order stuff that never sells. Like since the dawn of time, even when I was running the merch store, everything that I picked I thought would sell well, like the green How to Leave Town shirts, like nothing I ever want sells. So Emily doesn't really like when I ask her to order stuff. But the reason I say is like if there's enough public interest, I think she would be down.
Okay. If that's fine with everyone, we're going to move on to the next question from Lena.
Hi. So, I know you guys have plans to tour as Car Seat in 2022. I forgot what year it is. I was wondering if you guys are planning to tour as One Trade Danger again, because I like missed your tour in my city, and if there's anything specific you would like to perform or do.
But before I answer that question, I'm watching the chat right now, and the moment your name was said, everyone went fucking crazy. Are you like famous or something?
Famous?
Are you?
Yeah, he's famous on Car Seat Headrest Twitter.
Okay, so you're like bubble famous. Okay, cool. Well, I'm honored to be speaking
Thank
to
you.
the Lena.
We were
I mean,
just talking about this question, right?
Yeah, you can answer it. Go ahead.
We'd like to do, because there's going to be a gap at the end of this year. I'm optimistic at least that end of the year there's going to be vaccines and an acceptable environment for having shows, but it's going to still take a while for sort of larger tours to start back up just because of the logistics. So I feel like the end of this year would be a good time for doing something like one trait shows or maybe another small tour.
Yeah, we've never done a Seattle show, and like we're local to Seattle, so I feel really bad about that. I would love to do like a local 1TD house show, which is funny. Well, I forgot to mention this to you. So my girlfriend Hannah was just telling me that she has like a family friend that lives up in like Wedgwood that has this like really old church that has this massive organ in it. It's like a crazy big organ. And they like Hannah showed the album to her dad, and her dad thought it was hilarious. So he told the guy who owns the church or whatever about it. And the guy wants us to play a 1TD show there. And I was like, I mean, if he's aware, because it's a church, you don't want to like defile a church. Like I'm like if he's aware of what this music really is, then I would be super down, because it seems like a really fun little venue and it's local. It's like in Wedgwood. I would assume so. Yeah, I don't see why not.
Sweet.
So yeah. Something like that sounds fun.
That would be so cool. That would just be like so powerful of you guys. Like,
yeah.
Okay.
Well,
cool.
are you local to Seattle?
Unfortunately, no. I'm like on the other side of the country from you.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean,
you said you missed the last tour.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine we wouldn't do some more shows on the East Coast at some point.
That was a fun tour.
Yeah, I mean, we had a fucking blast. I mean, touring is, as One Trait, is so fun for a lot of reasons. Like, it's super low pressure, because like in my mind, you can't really fuck up a One Trait Danger song, because like it's just funny and stupid anyways. And then, of course, you're traveling with such little gear. The entire show fits in a backpack, as opposed to a car seat. You're touring with trucks, right? And it's just really fun to take a break from like the big production stuff and do these funny little shows. So I had a blast doing it last time. So yeah, hopefully we can again.
I was like watching some videos from like your previous tour as One Trait Danger, and they all looked like really fun. So I was like, that would...
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, they were fun. And I think the people that come to them were ready to have fun, and they were ready for me to yell at them for not clapping and stuff. I actually did. Oh, go ahead.
No, you go first, because I think you're probably going to mention something similar.
Well, I doubt it. I was going to say, although I saw somebody make a comment online, I forget where I saw it. They were like saying that I was a fucking asshole and yelled at them, that I was like a total dick, and I yelled at them during the show, during the song where I'm trying to get everyone to clap. And like, apparently the joke went way over their head and didn't realize that it was like a bit, and they thought I was yelling at them for real. And I think I know who it was, because it was this dude who refused to kneel on the ground, and I told everyone to kneel on the ground, and I had everyone point at him to get him to kneel down. And he was so pissed and like called me out on the internet, and I was like, this makes that joke way funnier to me, that like he didn't get it. I mean, I'm sure that makes you sound like an asshole, but it made it way funnier to me.
Now you can keep milking it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was going to say that the flip side is that when it's not fun, or if it's just like not as good energy, or if the sound is, whatever, then it's a lot easier to brute force a One Trait show, because and just like go fully in the direction of it being bad and unenjoyable.
Yeah. Exactly. Like
flips around after a certain point.
Exactly. If it's like bad, then you just make it worse, and then it gets funny again. Like, that's the beauty of One Trait. Yeah, I don't really see how a one trait show could go bad unless like the actual music stopped or like the computer broke. That's like the only way I could see it going actually bad.
We can make it work.
All right. So next question is from Squidney.
Hey, I'm Sydney, your local, well, not so local Lombardi's World streamer.
Oh yeah. I remember you.
My question is, how much of the game bled into the album and vice versa? And also, who decided to keep Lombardi as a villain thing going in Bangers? Or if Bangers came first?
Fuck. That's tough because it was kind of all... It kind of all started happening at the same time.
I feel like the only thing that really unites them is the presence of Lombardi as a villain. And like, that's not even really on the album that much.
No, he's just like this thing that's like hovering over the entire album.
So,
but
I mean, because we hadn't really written the record when the game was being made, it ended up being sort of its own thing, where that's a lot more focused on Lombardi and Matador. Well, quote unquote focused. Most of it is just a video game with very difficult puzzles. And then when we went to write the album, I wasn't really thinking about the game. I was just thinking about the musical pieces that we had.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that really truly connected them for me was the game. I knew I wanted Lombardi to be the antagonist, and in the album, I knew I wanted Lombardi to be like the kickstart to the record, where he says, "You guys have to get back together and make a banger album, or I'm going to kill you."
And that's like Cossett's World too, where like the only connection is there's Cossett as a villain.
Yes, exactly.
This weird alien environment. And I had a canon for Cossett's World that it's like you wake up hungover in some German town and you're late for sound check. And so that's the plot of the entire game. But I don't think we ended up actually including that as a real canon in the game.
No. Like, at that point, I don't think I was even capable of doing something like that.
But we've definitely
it was bare bones.
We've had some days like that, just wandering around in very barren environments before shows.
Totally. Yeah. So to answer your question in short, yeah, Lombardi is really, him being the villain is really the only thing that brings the two together. I mean, some of the songs that are in Lombardi's World were created before Lombardi's World started, and they were just sort of beats, and that's why they show up as just beats in Lombardi's World. And then after Lombardi's World came out, Will and I sort of turned them into real songs with lyrics and stuff like that. Like, as you could see when you beat the game, you hear "Shut the Fuck Up," but it's a totally different version than what you hear on the album because it's missing all of the lyrics at the end of the song because they just hadn't been made yet. Yeah, the guitar solo. Fun fact about that was recorded on an acoustic nylon string guitar.
What? How?
Yeah. That's the power of production. That's the power of production right there.
What did it have a direct in?
It was a DI acoustic nylon string guitar. Yeah, direct in, plugged it in with a quarter-inch cable to my audio interface, recorded it an octave down. So like the octave you hear in the song is actually, it was warped an octave. It was pitch shifted an octave up. So I recorded an octave down with a capo, and it sounds terrible. I love going into that project file and turning off all the effects. It just sounds like the worst guitar ever. And then I put all these saturators and crazy plugins on it and turned it into what it is, and then pitch shifted the whole thing up to make it sound like an electric guitar.
I think what's more impressive is the solo on Saturdays for the Boys. What you made that out of.
Yeah. I mean, because that was just me holding a computer up next to Ethan's unplugged electric guitar.
Yeah, I really didn't think that was going to work.
It works. It's the beauty of production. If you got enough plugins and time, you can make anything sound cool.
That's amazing.
Yeah. The next question's from Amazing Ulf, but also just to check in, we had a 20 initial batch of questions. Is it okay if we finish those if that goes over 6 a bit?
Doesn't matter to me. Yeah, I've got plenty of time.
Me too.
Awesome, sweet. All right. Amazing Ulf wanted to know the thought process of making the Hebrew puzzle and if you would mind explaining it, and also wants to say that the Hebrew puzzle was one of the best gaming experiences and being there for the first ever run of the game was amazing.
Ulf, awesome. Wait, is Ulf the dude from Sweden?
I
the two.
So
One of the
I
two.
feel like I remember them saying they played Lombardi's World for like 16 hours the day it came out to beat it, and I even mentioned. Oh, what'd you say?
I think that's Ulf's friend, but yeah,
Oh,
they
well,
were together on that shit, and it's crazy. And
yeah,
Ulf
that was
now
impressive.
recently did the 2-player run with me. It's
Ulf is doing speedruns. Nice.
Yeah.
Great.
Really cool.
I love that shit. So Will, I mean, that's a question for you for sure.
Yeah. So I mean, it first came up because you were trying to figure out how people die in the game, and at first I don't remember what your original idea is, but then
I knew I wanted there to be a gulag. I originally called it a gulag,
Right.
and you can see it in my
like a
scripts. All the
prison.
scripts for Purgatory are written as gulag something because I just kind of figured it would be like a prison where you're watching the boss fight, and then you had the idea to make it all gaudy.
Yeah, well, I figured we could expand it and turn it into, once you die, you go to purgatory, and then at the same time, we got the idea of expanding it more because you were looking for different spots to hide these puzzle pieces, right?
Yeah.
So you wanted to do one in the purgatory zone, and so in order to do that, you recruited me to do this religious themed puzzle, and that was just the first thing that I came up with. Really was the idea of having it be this. The code is a Hebrew word that you just the digits are assigned randomly, and you find what digits correspond to what Hebrew letters, and then you have to look up the passage that it gets quoted in. You stand on this little pad reading.
It's just such a brutally hard puzzle, and I loved it. I loved it for that.
Yeah,
because
it's like the sort of thing. See, because we always go to escape rooms, and like I'm going in, and it's like you see like 6 paintings on a wall, and it's like, where's the clue? And I'm like trying to figure out who painted what painting and like what era is this.
Yeah, you always go like 2 layers
fucking
too deep.
flip the painting over, and there's like 430 written on the back of it. And like I always want something where you actually have to like think about it, and like more naturalistic, where you really have to use applied knowledge to solve the puzzle. So that was my version of an escape room puzzle,
and it was great. I mean, it was great. It's exactly what I was hoping for. It took 30 people like an entire day to figure it out, which is perfect.
I'm glad Ulf asked that, because there's some interesting like mystical ideas with that word particularly, and like what the characters mean about like the redemption of the human soul and shit. So I was like, oh yeah, this is my shit.
Oh, you guys are taking it even deeper than that.
Well, I mean, and the Nacham, I think that's the word. It's repentance, and that was something that showed up in the first Twin Fantasy too, because I was studying ancient Israel history at the time, and that's something that shows up in the Old Testament. It's something that shows up in Job, and it ended up being something that I shouted in the middle of famous prophets. And so I figured that if someone was really a hardcore car seat fan, they might pick up on that. But I don't think anyone made that connection yet.
Like we sort of made other connections, because I was there when we first figured out the puzzle, and people were thinking like about which verses you were reading in songs and stuff like that. But now that I think about it, we didn't actually mention just the word Nacham, which thinking back on it, it's so obvious. Like, it was extremely frustrating. Thank you, I guess.
You're welcome.
Even though it was awful.
Yeah, thank you for all the pain.
I hope everyone attends my escape room when it's built.
Oh, please, yes. I'm ready to write a thesis about this puzzle. Let's go. I think we got Nadia up next.
Hey guys, I'm Nadia. Can you hear me well?
Yeah, sounds great.
Okay, perfect. My question was kind of about the Twitter fan base. You have a pretty active fan base, and you guys are also pretty interactive on it, just liking fan art, and also just leaving vinyl on the side of the road.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was amazing. But it's been like a great source of joy for all of us to interact with artists when concerts aren't really a thing. So my question is, what has been making you two happy during this pandemic quarantine stuff? Yeah.
I'll let you go first, Will.
Sure. I just kind of I had to get more comfortable being domestic during this, and I did. It's been really nice. It was not nice for a while because I've been really used to just going forward and doing the next thing, onto the next album, onto the next touring cycle. And I was basically living that way since college. And so this was the first time where I had to really hit the brakes and just live as a human being for a year. And I just kind of figured out stuff that I had been missing for a while. I got back into reading a lot. I hadn't really read extensively since college, so I started doing that more, and figured out basics of even just what to eat day to day. When I'm not in a different city every day, just ordering from restaurants, and just establishing a basic pattern, and feeling like I wake up and I know what month and year it is.
Yeah, knowing what day it is nice.
Right. And have just really just reading and doing stuff offline has really helped me feel more balanced these days.
Yeah, I mean, what makes me happy? I mean, I guess just accomplishing projects makes me happy. Working. I don't know at what age I developed this, like, I don't know what to call it. It's like a fucking mental tick, but like, I just developed this thing where I'm just not really content unless I'm working towards like a goal or an end project. So like when I was a kid, I could just like play video games for like 12 hours a day and be so happy have accomplished.
But you were also competing on a national level with video games.
I wouldn't say national level. I was not a national level, but I was competing in video games. Yeah.
What was the thing you were doing with Smash? I thought that.
That was like a statewide tournament, not a national. But yeah, I mean, I got really fucking good at Super Smash Bros. 64 and like committed. Yeah, I guess now that you say it, I committed a lot of my time to getting good at it. Yeah. But I will say that was in my like early 20s, and I'm talking about when I was younger, like much younger, like 15. And I could, as a 15-year-old, like my only concern was like, how do I have fun today? Like, I want to go hang out with my friends. I want to go play sports outside. I want to like smoke weed and shit. Like, I had no problem accomplishing literally nothing but socializing and having fun. And then as I got older, I started like getting this weird drive to like always need to be working on something. So yeah, fast forward to now. Come COVID, I have a crazy amount of free time. All of a sudden, this just like life shock where I'm not on tour anymore. And so I'm like, okay, well, I gotta fucking do something. And so, yeah, what makes me happy is just completing projects. So when Lombardi's World was finished, that was super rewarding. Finishing One Trait Bangers, super rewarding. And yeah, I find myself happiest when I'm like making progress on projects and completing things.
Okay. Just a quick question before we move on to the next one. I was going to ask, who do you main? The chat really wants to know in Smash. Who do you play?
In Smash 64, I mean, if I was going to play for my life, Pikachu for sure. But I love playing like Link and shit. Like I love playing Link against people that suck. Like playing Link 2v1 against people that don't know how to play is so fun to me because they just get so pissed. It's really sadistic, but I take a lot of pride in making people mad playing video games against them.
I mean, I could tell for some reason. I'm wondering.
Yeah, call me an asshole, whatever you want. But yeah, when I was in college, my buddies and I, all we would do on our free time is just get fucking high, play sports, and then play Super Smash Bros. And I was just like by far the best at Super Smash, so I would like play my roommates 3-on-1 and stuff. And my roommate Matt had a really bad temper, and he was also really bad at the game. And I saw him spike an N64 controller like probably 10 times while I was living with him. And like the fucked up thing is, it made me so happy to see him do that, even though I was causing him so much pain. But the beauty of Matt is, shout out Matt if you ever hear this, but the beauty of Matt is he always came back for a rematch. He was never defeated. You would knock him down. He would always say one more until like 5 a.m. It was, I respected that.
Damn, pissing off your roommate is a danger move, guys.
I mean, we like all my roommates, we were like really close friends in college, so like we were always fucking with each other.
I'm just going to ask a question about Lombardi. So it's basically, how does Lombardi feel about being this murderous villain character? And how do we go from like the nice lyrics and Teens of Style about Lombardi to just him being the villain of the video game?
Well, the last part of your question is super easy to answer, is because Will didn't come up with it. I did. And like, don't get me wrong, like Will and I have a great relationship with Chris. He's a great guy, and he has a great sense of humor that goes all the way back to like when he was in my Instagram videos when we were on tour. He's just like, he's a really chill dude, and he's down to play along. And what's so funny to me about him is that he is like this living caricature of like an evil, like record label exec. Like, even his aesthetic, he's super tall, he's super broad shouldered, he's got that like mustache or whatever. Like, he just looks like he would fuck you up with like, he would like run you over his car and then get out and beat you with a baseball bat. Like, he just looks like that, but he's such a nice guy. I love that dynamic. It's the same thing with Cosset. Like, Cosset is a perfect bully because he's the exact opposite of a bully in real life. Like, he is just like, Ethan is just the nicest dude and would never bully anybody. And so it's so funny to me to flip these people on their heads. And so it's a combination of that and a combination of, I knew Chris would probably be okay with it and he'd be okay acting on the album. Granted, I did a lot of work on the album before I like asked him to be on it, but I had a pretty strong feeling he would, and thankfully he said yes.
Right. I mean, that's good, because that's one of the coolest parts of it's really nice way to tie in the album and the game.
Yeah.
All right. So next up, Salami Cat is going to ask a question.
Yeah. So, what inspired you to pretty much just make One Trait Danger?
Well, Will, I guess. Well, because like One Trait Danger wasn't even a thought when we started making the first songs. Like,
right.
It was just us wanting to make funny songs, and we were just bored on tour and we had fun doing it, so we kept doing it. One Trait Danger was never a thought in my mind. I wanted to just put out these songs one at a time, and then Will said, hold up, like, just hold on to these until you have a ton of them, and then we'll just put them all out. And then he saw that sign in France and came up with the name, and then sort of guided the project to where it is now. I mean, if Will hadn't been involved, it would have just been a bunch of old Kill MIDI tracks that just got released one at a time.
Yeah, and I mean, we were in the process of making Madlow at the same time, and one of the early working titles of Madlow was One Trait Danger, and I was vaguely working with the idea of, having an alternate band or alternate persona, and that ended up getting assigned to this project instead, which I think ended up working out really well. So the name just kind of suits this project, and it's definitely not what I would have imagined thinking about it on my own, but it just seemed fortuitous that I'd been thinking about having this alternate idea of a band, and then at the same time we had these songs that clearly needed an alternative outlet to put out.
All right. Yeah. Hi.
I'm wondering about the impact of One Trait Danger on y'all's broader artistic kind of paradigm or practice, like considering how real it is as musicians to get emotionally like exhausted or daunted by considering the relationship to making sounds with too much gravity. I'm curious if like the kind of sonic and thematic play and experimentation in One Trait Danger feels like it provides a whimsical outlet that's necessary for sanity, or if it offers a more profound, like fresh, playful perspective on your approach to music making more holistically.
Well, that's definitely a question for Will.
Yeah, but I mean, it is like it's kind of your main outlet for music production, at least, Andrew.
Oh, as of now, 100%. Yeah.
Right. So I mean, for you, it's definitely necessary, and even if you weren't doing car seat headrest, you'd be some form of these songs would probably be in existence.
Yeah, totally.
And then, for me, my involvement, sometimes is coerced, but I come back to it because it's a way for me to bond with Andrew mainly, and for us to, when we are all on tour, it's something to be doing that is keeping us together and thinking about something that's very low stakes, which is nice. Although after a certain point, then it's no longer low stakes because we put a certain amount of time into it. So then it becomes its own sort of problem. But I think that's the nature of any artistic project, is you're either
I mean, my thought
shooting
is
something off with no effort, and it's got its problems, or you start putting in the effort and then it becomes its own problem.
Yeah, my thought is like it becoming a problem is the goal. Like, I always wanted One Trait Danger to be its own beast, and I wanted people to actually become fans of it. Like, of course, with that comes the pressure of releasing good content. Like the first album, zero pressure. Like it had no preconceived notions about what it was going to be. We just put it out. Great. But like, One Trait Bangers, like, to me, I felt like there was pressure to make something actually funny. But I think that's exactly what I wanted, because I want people to become fans of One Trait. I think it's a cool project.
And I'm in it for the same reasons, and I just like writing something that's funny, and it's harder to do that in music, so you kind of naturally end up tending towards more of something that's dialogue or closer to a TV show or something. And I'm kind of happy with the balance that we struck on Bangers, where it almost feels like an episode of a TV show.
Totally. Yeah. Like the Tenacious D, like, I always go back to that old HBO show, the original Tenacious D HBO. It's like these skits that walk right into a song. And it's like I just really want One Trait Danger to like be a sketch show. Like, I honestly, somebody messaged me on Twitter that like works in New York City for like the TV industry. Like, they work like Adult Swim or something like that. I forget what it is, but like, they're a comedy writer, and they messaged me and were like, this stuff should be a show. And I just messaged like, okay, make it happen then.
Well, if they were serious, they'd work in LA.
Well, I don't know. New York has plenty of that shit going on. But I said, make it happen. And they were like, okay, we'll work on it. And so, like, I don't know, maybe One Trait Danger sketch show at some point. That'd be sweet.
Oh, hell yeah. An animated show would be so cool.
I would love that.
Yeah, like a graphic novel or something, or like comics. Just ideas.
Yeah, totally.
I think we got Big Fish next.
Is Big Fish here?
Big Fish.
You're unmuted, but oh shit, Big Fish just lost. Oh, Big Fish is back.
Big Fish is back.
I just
yeah, hello, Big Fish is back.
What's up, Big Fish?
Big Fish
what
back.
Up?
All right. Okay. Sorry.
So I was just wondering, kind of, what would really be the difference between Will and Andrew's process for writing?
I hope there isn't any follow-up to that, because I love how vague it is. I'll take a stab at it. Will actually thinks about it, and I don't.
I see.
Yeah, I mean, it's that pretty much. Well, thinking about it's like time, really. Like you work very quickly, and then if it isn't, you work quickly and you want to finish quickly, and I usually work very slowly and I want to finish slowly. So when we work together, it kind of complements it, because you can keep it going where I might spin it off, indefinitely if I needed to, and I can slow you down when it's at risk of being finished before it's really ready.
That's a great way to put it. Yeah, I'm very good at just doming stuff off the top of my head, and I'm very impatient, and I love to just get stuff done and out the door. And so it's good to have Will to be like, all right, we got to pump the brakes a little bit. So yeah, it's definitely a good duo.
All right, thank you so much.
Yeah.
All right. The last official pool question we have is from Birdhouse, who is in my house because we just met IRL through this server, actually.
Wow, cool.
Right? Yeah.
I literally moved across the country because of meeting Kai in the server. So
no shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
Thank you for enabling
Lombardi's World, bringing people together. Put that on the Steam reviews.
Oh, totally.
It made me make friends.
Yeah. If you play this game, you'll move across the country to meet your best friend. Yeah, great.
You will.
Don't knock over the fan organ.
My question is, like, who are your comedy inspirations? Because I feel like you guys talk about your musical inspirations a fair amount, but I just want to know, like, comedy-wise, what you guys are like into.
Will, do you want to go first?
Well, you probably have the better lead because you already mentioned.
Yeah, Tenacious D, and then of course Weird Al, which I know Will and I both listened to Weird Al's kids. I mean, Weird Al was for sure my first comedic inspiration, and probably besides 1TD the most important. I mean, I remember memorizing an entire Weird Al Yankovic album that I got for Hanukkah as a kid. My parents got me the album and a tiny little CD player, like portable Walkman thing, and I would just listen to that shit all day. I memorized every single word. So yeah, Weird Al for sure, Tenacious D. Honestly, I didn't really like The Lonely Island, even though it's funny that One Trait's being compared to Lonely Island a lot, especially on this new album, but I wasn't a huge fan of them. I thought some of their stuff was kind of funny, but most of it was pretty hit or miss. Yeah, so mostly just the D and Weird Al for me.
Yeah, I grew up glued to the TV. 90s cartoons warped my brain, and I feel like a lot of that just comes across in what I'm interested in. And it's just like a lot of times, like, stuff that dissatisfies me will kind of drive me to think, like, how can you do it better? So it's just like, it doesn't even really matter if I'm watching. Well, I'd rather be watching something that really makes me laugh. But if I'm watching something that doesn't really make me laugh, then I'm still thinking about, how could it be better? And that was just kind of my scene growing up, is that I was either watching something I liked or I was watching something I didn't like. And those two things gave me a lot of inspiration for making my own shit.
You would just watch a lot of really bad stuff and try.
Yeah, I'd be like, fuck, it's like, yeah, it's like the dead hour on TV. What am I going to do? And then I just like flip through two shows that I hate.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Tenacious D apparently played with Daniel Johnston in like 2018. Someone from the server found like a cassette.
Whoa.
Man, if you're in here, yeah. That's an interesting combo.
Might have actually worked well.
Yeah. I think those are all the like questions that we had in our pool. I think we can wrap it up unless you want to grab a couple more from the chat, but otherwise.
I mean, if you guys don't have any questions, then I guess we got nothing else to.
Let's it's 6:17 now. Let's go until 6:30.
Perfect. All right. Cool.
All right, sure. Then chat. Go ahead, ask questions, and we'll try to pick out.
Holy.
Yeah, I'm not gonna read all that. I'll let you guys do that.
It would be totally chaotic.
I know Jane posted a question earlier. I don't know if you want to hop in and ask.
Sorry, let me Jane then.
Yeah.
Jane. Okay. Just navigating through the sea of people connected right now. I've never been in such a big Discord call. Okay, you're unmuted.
Oh, hi everyone. I was going to ask to both of you, what was your biggest inspiration in doing what you love?
Andrew, you go first.
God, that assumes that I know what I love. I don't know. I'm assuming you mean music.
Yeah.
Biggest inspiration? I mean, just going and seeing live shows as a kid. I used to go to a lot of festivals and stuff. Sasquatch was a staple for me growing up in the Pacific Northwest, and I was just really, honestly jealous of what those people got to do. It looked like so much fun, and I was a musician too, and I wanted to be them. Yeah.
I was the opposite. I didn't really go to shows as a kid, but I listened to a lot of albums, CD player and headphones. And just basically when I wasn't watching TV, I was listening to music, and just a lot of Pink Floyd, the Beatles and the Who and the Monkees, and just this sort of, discography that I built up, and REM, just my favorite bands just circulating over and over in my CD player. And it just it didn't even feel to me like ooh, I want to do this, so much as like it was one of the few things that there was to do. Like music made up a major part of my life, just listening to it. And I still feel like I feel like I'm better at listening to music than I am making it. I'm just sort of a consumer. And so, my early consumption habits taught me how to do what I love, which is consume.
Thank you.
Well, we live in a society.
Yes, we sure do. We had another question, a quick one. So about the trait mask thing, do you think that's going to work out live? Like, have you figured out a way to make that properly? Because
I hope it's going to work out
you
live.
And the Jimmy Fallon thing.
Yeah, we didn't do it for the Jimmy Fallon thing. We were in the process of having a different model made that would be for the first shows, because it is just a plastic mask right now that doesn't really allow for a microphone, unless I did do a couple interviews with a headset microphone inside. It did not sound super great. So I just need to check in on that, because everything kind of ground to a halt for tour preparation, in early 2020. And that was included on the list. Is, the last I saw of it, there was sort of a cast of a new mask being made. And I'm sure it's still sitting in that artist's basement. But I will check in on that. And, by the time we are actually ready to play, that should be ready as well.
Okay. We have another question from Colin, who's unmuted, I think. You can ask.
Yeah. Hi. I was just this is for both of you, actually. I was just wondering where the design for Trait's outfit came from. Like, it seems like such a strange combination of things that I never would have thought of, like a construction outfit combined with a gas mask and then these ears, and then also like where did the design for Stoney come from?
Well, I'll let you answer Trait, and then I can answer Stoney.
Yeah. I mean, it sort of developed slowly out of taking the colors from a hazmat, a more typical, what you would associate with a gas mask, sort of the brightly colored hazmat suit. But I didn't want to do exactly that. And sort of, almost by accident, I landed on this construction worker uniform just because it was easy to access. Like, I wanted to get a set of clothes for our first, our first tour as One Trait. And, it didn't really seem like it needed to be anything super high quality. So I just ordered a set of construction workers' clothes, and I guess at the time it seemed flexible to me, like that didn't necessarily have to be his standardized outfit. And before that, we did do a show or two where I had a Letterman's jacket instead, but it sort of got canonized on that tour, I think. And it is fun to wear. It's comfortable and it's like breathable, but also keeps you warm at the same time. The ears just kind of came thinking about the twin fantasy dog and wanting to translate that into really at the time I was thinking the next album, after Twin Fantasy was going to be tied in with this one trait character, and was for a little bit of time thinking about having the album cover have some picture of Trait on it. It didn't end up doing that, but that would have been sort of the connection there with it being this sort of warped version of Twin Fantasy.
Yeah. And so then the Stoney character came from Will's friend Remy Boydell, that just sent me the art that is for One Trait High, the album art for One Trait High. That was not like me reaching out to Remy and being like, hey, can you make me album art? It was Remy just sending that to me and saying, hey, I listened to the track Stoney Baloney and I sketched this. It like inspired me. And I was like, I actually really like this picture. I was like, can I just make this the album cover? And they were like, sure. And next thing you know, Stoney was born.
Remy also helped with Trait. She made the ears that I still wear for Trait.
I think Violet had a question related to the costuming and is unmuted earlier.
Okay, am I asking both questions or just the one? Because you told me both, kind of.
I said whichever you're feeling.
I'll ask both, and you can reply to what you want. So thank you so much for letting me speak. But I guess going off the question one is, can we ever expect to see any sort of Stoney costume in any way in the future? Should I say both questions now or wait?
Let's wait.
Okay, great.
Because there was a Stoney costume that has been worn.
Wait. The question was: is there going to be a Stoney costume in the future?
I mean, similar to Trait. Yeah. Will there be anything like that?
Well, didn't Remy make one, Will?
Yeah, I thought you wore it at the first show. Just a hat with the ears.
I didn't have the ears at the first show.
I swear, at some point I feel like I remember you. Maybe not.
No, because Remy was gonna make them and send them to me, and then Remy was like, "Oh, I need to put
they're at my house." I told you have them. Yeah.
Yeah, well,
we just forgot about it for like a year.
And I mean, like, I'm open to wearing the costume on stage, but like, I think two things: like, performing with a mask on fucking sucks. Like, the amount of work that's going to go into. Right. But I think I'm assuming that's what you meant when you said costume.
I mean, my background is I make fursuits.
Yeah.
I assume that's what you meant. I was more wondering if it would be something like that.
Yeah, so performing that is just really hard. Like, the amount of work that's going to go into Will's gas mask to make it sound good is going to be pretty wild, and I don't think it's worth doing for One Trait. I was totally down to wear the ears on stage. Here's the other thing about wearing that costume on stage. Like I said, I love the idea of me playing multiple personas. And so, like, if I were going to wear that costume on stage, I would probably only wear it during, like, Stoney Baloney or another Stoney type song.
Like 6.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, of course. I mean, if somebody make me a fucking dope ass suit, I'll put it on.
Yeah, you could get like a giant Andrew suit too.
Just a suit of myself. That'd be pretty funny.
Insane. That would be great. Just a sort of question that sort of car seat headrest people have been asking themselves. I think, who is in the Trait costume, unless it's like confidential or something, in the Jimmy Fallon, the latest show?
I don't know if it's confidential. It's just a friend of mine Well, actually, his name is James, and he's got some music out. I think his project right now is called A Controlled Burn.
Okay.
But yeah, we've jammed a few times, and he was set to come on tour with us to help out before tour got canceled. So it seemed like a good opportunity to involve him again.
All right, neat. Okay, well then, people go check out A Controlled Burn, everyone.
Well, yeah, let me make sure it's still.
No, yeah, people are sending
Someone
them.
found it.
Actually,
Someone
just
found
sent.
it. Also, the chat keeps telling me to say Weezer, so there you go. I don't know what the fuck your guys' obsession is with Weezer. I seriously don't get it.
I wish you'd said I don't know what the fuck Weezer is.
I know. I know what it is. I just really want to know why it's in this little bubble. Why Weezer is like this thing? Why? I've asked this before, and no one can really give me an answer. Can anybody answer this, please?
Well, I don't think it's just
kind
this
of
little
It's
bubble.
just a joke at this point.
Yeah.
Like it's just like it's like becoming a buzzword for jokes on Twitter, like Among Us is, and it's getting so old to the point that every time I see the word Weezer on Twitter, I have to mute it. I can't.
Well, why can't we make One Trade Danger the buzzword? I want to be
Please.
famous with Weezer.
Yeah,
do
that's how that works.
Yo, who the fuck is Weezer?
Yeah, we're gonna do it the opposite way. We're gonna
Hey,
get
guys, you know what-
famous
you know what
off
a really
the meme.
Funny joke would be just post One Trait Danger online.
Yeah,
That's literally
everyone.
what, like,
Honestly, everyone go on Twitter right now and just post as many One Trait Danger tweets as you can. Let's see if we
It's
get
just
famous.
what Twitter is at this point.
One
People
Trade
just
Danger
tweeting
and-
one word and then like
Yeah.
crying, laughing.
You don't even want that. You
Honestly,
I don't.
like
You don't know what
I
you're
use
asking
One Trait
for.
Danger as a buzzword.
I guess I don't know what I'm asking for, to be honest. I'm not really like deep in the online scene, so I might have just dug myself a grave.
No, let's let Weezer take that bullet.
Okay, yeah.
You might not want to be in the middle of that. Yeah, I don't know how cool it must be for Weezer.
I have a really quick question. Will, did you voice Elon Musk out of spite because you
No, I voiced him because Andrew told me to. I don't hate Elon Musk. He has an unpleasant online personality, so I blocked him. I'm down if someone's going to make electric cars a possibility to replace the current setup that we have, but I think that he doesn't act appropriately online, so it's fine to block him.
Yeah, I thought Will would play Elon perfectly, and he did. I mean, honestly, there's parts of that where I thought he kind of sounded like Elon. That's why I wanted him to do it.
I think Captain Pork had a question from earlier, and then
oh yes, excuse me. Yeah, I have a quick question here.
Mm-hmm.
So, how did you manage to get so many guests on the album, and do you think there will be any like legal repercussions for that? Like, will Elon or someone like come after you and say, "Hey, ban this" or whatever?
I pray to God Elon comes after us for this. That would make my life. If Elon could listen to this song, if Elon and Grimes, I would cry if I saw Elon and Grimes sitting in their living room being played this song, the song Rocket Ship and Rocket Ship Intro. I would love that. And any consequences I'm open to after that moment.
That's what what's their name that their kid is listening to nowadays.
I sure hope so.
DAEX12?
Kate just asked if either of y'all can say trans rights, just for the sake of it.
Absolutely, trans rights.
Trans rights, bro. Come at me.
Hell yeah. I know Violet too is bringing up the trans mass solidarity that is felt throughout One Trait Bangers. For sure.
Yeah. After One Trait Bangers came out, I came out to so
oh yeah, bro.
Questions.
What was that, Coraline?
I'm wondering if we should just wrap it up. Since
I think we should wrap it up. Yeah, thank y'all for coming to celebrate One Trait Dangers, One Trait Bangers, tomato. Yeah, thank you all. Thank you for spending the time to answer questions, Andrew and Will.
Totally.
Yeah,
Thanks for having us. That was fun. I'm super glad that there's a community of people that are enjoying this stuff, in playing the game, listening to the music. It's exactly why I want to do this stuff. It's what makes this rewarding. So thank you guys.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you for making all this stuff. once again, yeah, as you can see, this community has been really cool for everyone involved, I think. And it's been a lot of fun playing your game, even if it is like a big part of suffering. Like, yeah.
Yeah, I love that caveat. Anytime the game gets a compliment.
Yeah.
All right, well, cool, everybody. Thank you. I'm gonna log off. It was great. Talk to everybody later.
Thank you both.
Yeah, I'll see you later. Bye.
Cheers. Bye.